So if you look at the business requirement that the public sector in India are looking forward to, and some of the challenges that they have, one very clearly is that they are multi-location, right? And second is that when you look at the kind of area of operation, some of the remote locations would largely be the manufacturing plant of it, and then they have the corporate offices, right? Which means that the requirement will not be same across all the locations, right? And thirdly, at the end of the day, what all of them need is essentially the business processes, to be similar. In fact, so that the user interface and the experience that the user should have while using all of these applications, be it voice, video, data, and the entire suite of business collaboration should be same, right? So that kind of inconsistency is there when you look at the multiple site setup that they have and the kind of deployment that is existing today. So when we interact with the public sectors, one of the first things that come out is that how can you really make this consistent experience for the users, right? And adopt this technology as probably something wherein the users don't have to struggle to really use this technology in place. One of the examples that one of the customer gave us was that, say for example, if the senior executive travel from the head office to a plant, they won't even know how to dial out, right? Because the system is completely different. At the same point of time, it doesn't support collaboration, and it's a siloed kind of a infrastructure and application view that they have today, right? So to integrate that, what Avaya has done, and the offering that we have deployed today with our customers in public sector, is that we have integrated the infrastructure using a protocol which is called SIP, Session Initiation Protocol, right? Which essentially is something like TCP/IP for data. And SIP is an open platform wherein you can not only integrate voice, video, but instantly can collaborate, using tools like file sharing, video sharing, and it also gives you the kind of location preference of a person, which is called presence, right? Which essentially means that you're giving all the tools to an organization and a public sector where they can really bring business processes faster up to speed. The collaboration becomes so pervasive, and the most important part is that how can you really build a context of communication, which means that if I give you an example is that, if you are having a communication, with a person on the other side, and if you would like to know what was my last 10 or 5 communication context with that person, it really helps you to really get a result much faster than anticipated, right? That's called context. And that context is irrespective of the mode of communication that you have interacted with earlier. Now, which means that if, say for example, your last communication was on an IM, right, or a video, do you really get that context back when you're calling that user on a phone, right? That's the kind of collaboration that we're talking about, and that's what the need is in today's public sector organization.
So, what kind of consumer behavior you observe in this sector?
Okay, so the consumer behavior that you look at in most of the organizations, and that's expanding today, is something called bring your own device concept, which means that if you look at the consumerization of IT, largely is not restricted towards the kind of desktop or a laptop that you might provide to a user today. It is as good as a smartphone that a person is using, right? And that smartphone essentially can integrate with the communication infrastructure that you've provided. That's where you can give the kind of productivity tools to the user. And one of the examples that I can talk about is Avaya 1X client, which is portable on a handphone, which is portable on a Avaya Flare device, and which is portable on a laptop computer or a personal computer. Now that's a tool wherein you can initiate a call using the Avaya 1X client, and you can actually look at the presence of the user, which means that whether the user is available, busy, or in a semi or a quasi busy state, and then can initiate a call depending upon the kind of number that user has put for himself in the presence, right? Which means that if the user is outside of the organization, you can really reach out to that user on a handphone. And if the user is available in the office, then you can use him, you can reach out to him on the handphone.
Dialing one number.
Just dialing one number. So that, you don't have to tell that user, that these are the different numbers that you have to go through. It's a single dialing scheme wherein backend the system recognizes the presence of the user and initiates it. So that's where we are helping each of these organizations today from a consumerization perspective, ensuring that we help all of these organizations are a concept called BYOD, bring your own device, and make it much more open to use communication and collaboration.
This leads to one more thing. If somebody don't want to reveal his personal number, then it helps to to maintain the secrecy, to maintain the privacy.
Yes, and most of these organizations today, when you look at, the mobile number or the handphone number is not advertised, and nobody would like to do that because it's, intrusion into the privacy.
Right.
At the same point of time, what we can do is, we can set up these teams in the server backend and not revealing the numbers, to the end customer who's dialing.
This is a secret thing for the same, bring your own device?
No, these are basically some of the unique features that we have in our unified communication and collaboration suite of products that we offer, and it's integrated in our systems.
So this is you can say one of the features.
Correct. This is an integrated feature today, which everybody would look at, and it's become a basic necessity to have, a multiple ring that you need on multiple devices, which should be determined by your presence.
What would be the next technological innovation in this?
Okay, so when you look at the, some of the, I would say, business initiatives and the cut point, from a technology and a business point of view, I think what is evolving very clearly is cloud computing, right? And the other one which is supporting that cloud is business collaboration. And both of these are getting integrated today from a trend point of view. Right, so essentially the inflection point from a business point of view is that how can really business collaboration help build the cloud infrastructure, right? And when we are looking at some of the applications that I share with you, say for example a messaging, right, which can really reside on a cloud, it becomes independent of the location. You can go and access, the voicemail services. So we are putting lots of application on the cloud, which people can use and organization can use as part of the next inflection point on technology.
Another one is what are the trends do you observe in this?
Okay, trend is when you look at the public sector organization, I think it is as simple as and it gels well with any enterprise. And the trend essentially is about, first of all, increasing the top line, right, the revenues, and then second is increasing productivity from a user point of view, and third is making technology and the user interface which is as easy for the users to use, so as to make it, the organization to use collaboration in a better fashion.
You bring in those two.
Correct. So it's all about the user experience, that each of these organizations are looking at. And if we, as Avaya, we are ready to give that user experience across multiple locations, across devices, and to ensure that leads to faster collaboration and better productivity for the user. I think that's our mission.
How are they adopting this kind of latest technology nowadays?
Because from an adoption point of view, if you look at public sector, is no different from the enterprises, right? And when you look at the user acceptance of our technology, I think they are as eager to adopt a new technology as any other enterprises. The maturity of, I would say, a public sector organization is much higher, right? And the need to collaborate is even there, right? So I don't see that as a challenge. I think people are mature enough. They're looking forward to these mature technology from a collaboration point of view. And that's driving the adoption of these technologies.
Don't you find any kind of conservativeness in accepting or adapting these technologies in public sector?
So I'll give you an example. When you look at the public sector, they are probably much ahead of enterprises when they use video conferencing. Right, because of the stature or of the status of the organization, which is multi-location, they have been the early adopter of video conferencing technology. So what SIP as a protocol is helping the public sector today is to ensure that along with the video conference, right, we are ensuring voice communication, we are ensuring context-based communication, and ensuring that the documents and the relative content is shared on the same fly, at the fly itself. Right, so they've been early adopters of some of these technologies when it comes to from a trend point of view. And we are very, I would say, from a public sector adoption point of view, we are seeing good amount of momentum. Avaya's engagement in public sector has really gone up big time, and we have some marquee customers really in public sector, which is helping us build that momentum going forward as well.
What is the current market share of this sector?
I think we can share that, the relative information that we have.
Thank you.
Thank you.